Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy and we're gonna get straight into our explosive penny stock watch list. First stock of the day, we're looking at Humbl, and before we get to the charts, we had major news today in Humbl, and we had a binding term sheet to acquire Monster Creative. And so this was a huge move in Humbl. And so if we just kind of look at what these guys do, Monster Creative is a leading creative advertising agency in the entertainment space. They've worked on Transformers, Spider-Man, Terminator, Planet of the Apes, Star Trek, a lot of stuff. You have big hits on Netflix like Jack Ryan and Narcos. The best part about this entire acquisition right here is the fact that we had the majority of this acquisition through common stock. This means that Monster is going to get compensated through shares, which means shares are taken off the market, which is very great for a company that is trying to grow. And so all that means is a lot of these shares are starting to get locked up. Less shares in circulation means a higher share price. And so this was an absolutely beautiful move. Instead of diluting shareholders, we got our shares locked up. And so this was a double whammy on the bullish side. And this is why I am so bullish on Humbl. Everything that they do down to the structure of their deals is absolutely bullish. They could not have done anything better. Yes, they did give up some cash in this, but this is absolutely nothing compared to this common stock. And so now we know that there are going to be a lot more shareholders on board. In addition, as we start to make more acquisitions, I believe that they are going to follow the same pattern where we are going to give up some common stock. And so again, that will take a lot of shares out of the float. And so if you have less supply, demand goes up, and then the share price also goes up. And so overall, this was a huge move in Humbl. Regardless of what people think about Monster Creative in itself, the work speaks for themselves. These guys have done absolutely phenomenal in this space. And the fact that this deal was structured so eloquently makes me so bullish on Humbl. And so if you look at how the price reacted today, we didn't get the crazy reaction we expected. We were only up about 4% today, but you guys know we have been holding this level of support extremely nice. Our RSI is at a 36, so we are not oversold, but we are at very oversold levels. And so one thing I also want to mention is our MACD is starting to curl up, and another green day would be an extremely bullish crossover. And so if I add in our moving averages, we can see here that we are still hanging above our 200-day SMA. And so we are finding very nice support along this level. And overall, I believe that a lot of people are going to accumulate shares. If you guys aren't going to accumulate shares, the partners and the deals that Humbl and Brian Foote make, those people are going to lock up these cheap shares that you probably will eventually buy when this stock starts to run up. Don't be the person who's going to buy this while it's running up. Buy it while it's going down, where people are very confused as to why it's going down, because behind the scenes, everything that is happening for Humbl is absolutely bullish. And so that's all I really need to say about this stock. Absolutely solid day today. Very happy with the news that came out today overall. Excited to hear the conference call later on today. Next stock of the day, we're looking at IGEN on the 30-minute time frame. And so IGEN has been having crazy volatile swings intraday. Today we were up as high as 12%, but we closed the day in the red. And so I'm smiling because this is trading very nicely in my opinion. So right now we are trading in a bull flag. You can see on our 30-minute time frame, the price action is clear as day right here. This pattern concludes on May 12th. And so at this point in time, we will get a better move. And if we start to break to the upside, I do believe that is going to be extremely bullish for IGEN. However, if at this point we break to the downside, that would actually look extremely bearish, because at that point, our 50 SMA would start to cross down, potentially even below our 200-day SMA, and that would coincide with a death cross. But because that hasn't happened yet, these are the two scenarios on the table. And so I do expect the price action to continue to trade in this triangle. You can see how strong this level of support has been. We actually closed on this level of support, which is a solid close overall, even though we had this crazy dump near the end of the day. But this is that market manipulation that we have continued to see here in IGEN. So you could see with the sell-off came, yeah, we had extraordinary accumulation here. So a lot of divergence is happening on this chart, but overall in the short term, this is the pattern that we are looking at. And at this point around May 12th is when we will get a solid answer to where this one wants to go. And if we start to go up, our 50 would bounce off our 100-day SMA, and that would actually be extremely bullish price action. And so around May 12th to May 14th is going to be make or break here for IGEN in the short term, and it should let us know exactly where we're going. Remember, there is going to be a settlement date on May 18th that could be a very strong catalyst for IGEN. And so because this triangle goes up until this date, if we actually get bad news on the 18th and we end up going to trial, that actually might lead the price action to go lower, which might be a good opportunity to buy in on IGEN. Or we could get very great news during the settlement, and that could lead us to go right back up. Overall, IGEN has been trading very solidly in my opinion. I don't expect this to shoot up just yet. I know that it's going to take some time, but I do think we are at a floor level here. And if you are a buyer in IGEN now, you will thank yourself a year, 2 years from now. Next stock of the day, we're looking at Social Life Network on the 30-minute time frame. And same thing with Social Life Network. We have crazy swings intraday here in WDLF, but overall, we are still trading in this pennant. You can see we are just continuing our price action to the downside. And so overall, the lowest I believe we go here on WDLF is around 005, but this level on our uptrend is going to be a major test for us to hold. If we can't hold this level, then eventually we will break down and we will test these lows. But because we are not there yet, there's nothing to fear. Even though we are below our 100-day SMA, we are just trading in our pattern. And again, I do expect us to back test this uptrend line. Overall, if we look at our MACD here on the daily, we got a crossover right back to the downside. And so that was not good news overall. So we could continue to see WDLF drop in the short term. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SEGI on the daily time frame. So SEGI was up 2%, and now we are a little bit below this little triangle that we have projected here for SEGI. And so I do expect us to continue to go up. However, we actually got a negative crossover right here, and so that is not something that I like. And if we continue to push down, this price action will continue to drop down. But I do believe on June 24th, we will be trading around 4 cents, and I will like to put that somewhere in writing just so we have evidence of that. But again, this is in video, so we do have evidence of that. But just to see how this triangle plays out, no matter where this price action heads, June 24th, it's going to be at 4 cents. Next stock of the day, we're looking at MJNA on the daily time frame. So MJNA again continues to trade in our pattern, and now we are on a level of support that we need to hold. And so as we are on this level of support, I want MJNA to continue to hold, but at the same time, again, on June 25th, I do expect us to be trading around 5 cents. And so overall, at these points in time, I do think these are extraordinary buying opportunities overall in MJNA, but for a trading opportunity, now is not the setup to be getting in. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ALYI on the daily time frame. So we were down about 4% today, and we actually had a tough close. As long as the price action is below our trend line right here, we are not going to be in ALYI. We want the price action above this point and preferably over the 50 SMA to get in on ALYI, but right now there is no promising setup. Most of these stocks just continue to bleed down. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HYSR on the daily time frame. So Sun Hydrogen up about 5.5%. Closed below our 200-day SMA, and so at this point in time, I just expect HYSR to continue to bleed. You could see we continue to see distribution on the stock, and so overall, the 50 SMA is projected to eventually cross over this 200-day SMA if we don't get the price action up, and so I do expect this to happen. Overall, I do think we will see a lot of good buying opportunities in HYSR. I personally believe that HYSR might even go as low as a penny, potentially even less, the way that it is trading and the way the fundamentals are set up for this company. Next stock of the day, we're looking at RDGL on the 30-minute time frame, up about 4%, and we are starting to get very close to buying this stock. You could see we closed actually right above and outside of our triangle. However, we are below our 50 SMA, so we are not hopping in just yet. We want the price action to get above our 50. Once you get above this point, we are ready to go. You can see the accumulation on this stock has been unreal. On our 30-minute time frame, you can see we have a lot of buyers coming in. They are stockpiling this stock, and they do expect something to happen, and as do I. And so at the end of the day, once you get above this point, RDGL is in play for a very solid swing play, potentially even a long-term hold. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ACDC on the 30-minute time frame. So ACDC's had a tough week, closed below our uptrend line, and so that is the biggest takeaway here. Because we are below this point now, we are bearish here on ACDC, and we should start to look for support here on our 200-day SMA, potentially as low as around 8 cents. And so obviously this would be worst case scenario for ACDC, and so we should be looking for some sort of support right now. But because we are below this level on our uptrend, we are now bearish. Next stock of the day, we're looking at STAF on the daily time frame. So STAF is up only about 1% today. We have pretty much flatlined here in accumulation. But one thing I want to mention, this point right here, we had literally the exact same accumulation as we have current day, but the price action here was trading at $1.30, whereas we're trading at 60 cents right now. But again, same accumulation, and so that divergence should let you know about something. And so overall, I do think at these prices, STAF has a lot more upside than it does downside. We had our death cross already, and our price action has been fluttering down. And so as we are now breaking down, I do expect us to find a bottom shortly on STAF. At these levels, I am a buyer, and I would be playing this for a swing play. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HITIF on the daily, and so HITIF has had absolutely solid news come out of their camp. We had an acquisition of Fab CBD, and so overall, we haven't seen the price action come up because of the continued dilution to make these acquisitions. But overall, these acquisitions are going to be very solid for long-term investors that are holding for the growth of this company like myself. I'm not here to make a quick buck here on HITIF. I believe that this is going to be one of the strong cannabis plays for the next decade, and that is why I am a long-term holder here in HITIF, which is why I'm holding at around 70 cents, and I will continue to hold. And I do even potentially believe that HITIF can get as low as 31 cents, and I'm still going to hold at these levels. I will be a buyer if we get back down there. Overall, right now, I'm just waiting for HITIF to test this level of support on this uptrend to see if we have strength back to the upside. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SNDL on the daily time frame. So we were up about 7.5% here today. Found very nice support here on our 200-day SMA, and so we really like to see that. Overall, we've still seen a lot of distribution relative to any sort of accumulation. Our MACD could potentially be crossing over to the downside if we get another red day. Right now, we are in line with our signal line. So Monday and Tuesday are going to be very crucial days to see where SNDL wants to go. Overall, if we can get the price action to just bounce right back up here and we get a bounce of our 50 onto our 100, that would actually be extremely bullish price actions. If I'm just strictly looking at SNDL on a risk reward basis, the price is actually quite attractive. Although I'm not a long-term believer in SNDL, I just believe that there's so many catalysts that are going to help the cannabis industry, and in turn, it is going to help the most hyped cannabis play that we have seen. And so overall, for a swing play, I might be looking at SNDL as a nice little 1-2. Overall, this would not be a long-term pick of mine for the cannabis sector, more so to capitalize on the hype that we should see in these next 4 years. Well, there you guys have it. That was our quick little update on our explosive penny stock watch list. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.